Good day, my fellow humans. How are you doing? I had big plans earlier today, and man, did they not go out. I am finding it hard. Not even hard. How about this? I am still trying to figure out how one can still be not. See, that's how I feel in general. Not because stuff is not coming together, but it's like your whole life you're taught to plan. Maybe it should have been loosely planned because this is really, it seems pointless, especially during quarantine, where every day you just want to mix it up and do something. Um, Lately, I guess on a more serious note, because I try to lighten things up. Things can be so dense here all the freaking time. But death, there have been a lot of deaths lately. Even if you're not watching the pandemic, if you watch your timeline or Instagram or even the news, you notice that people are really exiting um, from a spiritual place. From what I could find so far, they say we choose our exits, except for in times when free will is violated, of course. Somebody's put black magic on you, or accident, murder, stuff like that, things that violate your right to choose. But besides that, you can decide when you no longer want to be here. That's the setup. Right now, a lot of people are choosing their higher selves, are choosing to chuck up the deuces, so to speak, because we are at a closing. What is supposed to happen next? It's a good question, right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I really was disappointed about December 21st. Oh, can I turn my screen and show you guys? I went outside a few days before December 21st and I drew this photo over here. I was actually mad at my husband. You need to understand what's going on here. So I went up to their channel paint. So what you do when you're channeling painting, it works way better if you actually have the skill set, but everybody can channel. So you just literally clear your mind and let the energy move through you. I thought I was going to draw some beautiful emo work. No, instead I drew this, which actually ended up looking like a star shooting down rays. So what I interpret this as, in comparison or in combination with everything that was said about December 21st, I don't believe we were meant to get superpowers or that we will even be able to access certain sets of gifts here because we are at such a dense vibration. This is 3D. This is why we can see each other silently as opposed to angels and other things that are on a lighter vibration. I think when we got hit by that beam, we developed the ability to expand our minds to new ways, to new things. We were only using 10% of our brains. I think every time one of these new moons or full moons or anything like that comes around, it's shooting down frequencies based upon how your chart is set up to put you on the path for what you need to be doing on your journey. On December 21st, what was that? Was that Capricorn or Aquarius stuff? I don't remember, but either way, I think it was Aquarius meets Cap. Either way, we're supposed to be taking down the rich, meek inheriting the earth. Technically, it's just the rich aren't going to go out without fighting. We have a uphill battle to go, and some people don't want to be here for what's next. What is next on our schedule? The rest of the year, we have the North Node in Gemini. We are still learning. We are at the lesser degrees, which means we're closing out everything that we were meant to be learning this year. I've had Gemini at 11th most of this year, and which means that I've been learning how to teach amongst people, make friends with smart people. It's going. In a couple more months, it'll be Gemini in my 10th house, which is your career house. I'll be talking for a living and teaching. Oh, here we go. It's coming together. If you're somebody who has Gemini first, you might be learning about who you are as a teacher, learning about yourself in general, learning about your duplicitous nature. If you have Gemini in second right now, what's developing for you is your ability to understand that your mind is where you make your money. Speaking, connecting to people, talking, teaching. Being a student might even be what you need to do right now. If you have Gemini in third, you're going to figure out your communication with your siblings on a local basis, your neighbors, you're starting to step up in your community. If you have it in fourth, you might be teaching from home or learning from home or really writing and creating things, because Gemini is also about being a writer, any form of communication. In your fifth house, you probably are writing or learning how to have your first kid, being a teacher to your kid, learning about childlike things, learning about your passion, or writing creatively, speaking creatively. If you have in the sixth house, this means on a day-to-day basis, you are the talker, you are the thinker. This is what you do to be of service to people. That's what's coming together. If you have Gemini in the seventh, you are learning how to communicate in your marriage or in front of the public eye or in contracts. Gemini in eighth, you're being kinky, sending nasty texts. But actually, you're learning about life or death things, magic, taboo things, maybe even real estate, stock markets. That would be hilarious, because a lot of people are probably learning about the stock market after this fiasco this year. Gemini in ninth, you're learning about your belief system, about God, about foreign travels, about everything that is outside of the box that you have learned about in your life. And we covered 10th, which is your career house, learning to be a speaker, teacher, somebody who has multiple jobs. 11th would be connecting to your tribe, the tribe of thinkers, speakers, people who support you because of your mind. This could also be fickle people. And lastly, the 12th house, that mysterious house. What is what for you guys right now for the rest of the year with the North Node going to the 12th house? You might be spending time learning in isolation. You might even be dealing with the fact that you're realizing you have a separate side, because I've heard the Gemini in 12th has an evil twin. I've noticed that in composites, which are the charts you use for relationships. If you have a Gemini ascendant in your composite between you and your partner, that is a twin flame reunion union, and you will be dealing with your evil twin, so to speak, literally at the end of this year, because the North Node goes into Taurus in January. When the North of next year, when the North Node goes into Taurus next year, the South Node will be in Scorpio. The South Node is reflections of the past. North Node is what you're building towards the future. Taurus is all about peace, nature, food, wine, hedonism, but like hedonism as in like hippie freedom, the peace. In my mind, Scorpio is the perverted version of Taurus. Like when you come to Earth and you become wrapped up in the material things. Taurus is supposed to take like a little bit of the finest things and be okay with the regular things in peace. Scorpio wants it all, to hoard it all, to invest it all, to collect power. That means that anybody who has done anything of that nature, of the Scorpio nature, it's just everybody's skeletons are coming out of the closet. I imagine a wild shit show, but I also imagine a lot of good being done, as we are seeing a lot of dark uncovered, especially in our entertainers, Hollywood, politics. Joe Biden has his 12th house in Scorpio, baby. I feel like we're really going to see a lot when that North Node hits Taurus. After that, we have 18 months before it gets into Aries, which is a whole nother conversation, because the last time the North Node was in Aries, we had World War II. Who knows what can happen over 3 years, but I seen Wonder Woman. I know what Aries is up to. So today's video, now that I've caught you up on astrology, right now the moon is in Aries. People are feeling a little feisty. I'm actually feeling a little unfeisty now that it's in its final degrees, but it's starting to approach Taurus. It'll be in Taurus for the next few days, then it'll be in Gemini, because the moon is the fastest moving luminary. It goes through every sign more or less over the course of the next 30 days. So literally the whole month we are being emotionally dragged to pull up emotions, which I actually realized was the craziest thing. The moon was in Pisces from, I believe, like February 9th through Valentine's Day, just to give you guys an idea for you to think about this week. When the moon was in Pisces, any feelings that you had that were left over that didn't come up before, because this is backed up by the fact that we are literally in Mercury retrograde, which is what this video is about right now. We are having Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, which means things with friendships, things with our soul tribe, dealing with people online, things with technology. Retrograde means these things are going to be like rewound slowly, so that you have time to edit everything before it goes forward again. That's the best way I can explain what a retrograde is to you. So with that in Pisces, being that moon, I notice a lot of feelings. Like I have no reason in my life to be sad. But then that Pisces energy is some sad shit. I think that also has to do with the lost souls. Because Pisces energy is the most sensitive energy. It's sort of the martyr energy, the Jesus energy, if you will, but just the energy that connects you to the collective because it's in charge of the 12th house and Neptune. It's that watery, dreamy energy of just spirituality. Your feelings come up, my feelings come up, feelings I did not expect because they weren't from this freaking life, which is the wildest thing. Sometimes it is a blessing, really, to feel sad and not know where it comes from, to be able to sit in a meditation and be like, all right, pull this feeling, or to pull a card of any kind. Um, if you can't, I recommend getting oracle decks or anything like that for everyone. Now, the important thing about this is, even if you don't know how to use them, practicing will open your channels. We are all dealing with a disconnecting from our chakras. This was done on purpose. The things that disconnect us are in our food, in our water, in our toothpaste, purposely blocking us from being able to connect to these higher chakras. So we have our root chakra, which is at the base of our spine. That is in charge of our stability, our base, our root. That is our primal chakra, energy center. Things we can't see, but they're connected to your body. The next one is in your, like where your uterus area would be. If you're a guy, I guess your lower belly, under your belly button. That is your sacral chakra. That is your pleasure center. That is the place you get your courage from. And the next one is your solar plexus, which is where your rib cage is. That's creativity. I think the other one might be passion too. But either way, these are all your just very lower vibration, the required things that you need for this life. Your heart is the magnetic center. I wish you could see my whole body. I'm actually in the process of putting together the studio. So this will be my last webcam video. I'm really excited about that. Y'all have been rocking with me in my shitty cam. So your heart is the center to all of this. Now, during childhood, if you dealt with sadness a lot, or you just had to tuck your heart away, you might only be able to access your lower chakras, which means that all your messages don't come up. You can't connect to God. And most of the time, when people feel sad or depressed here, it's because we are in the one planet in the universe that has decided to separate itself from God. We all came here understanding that we would be separate, but the goal is to ascend, which means find your way back home, which is the whole Lion King fucking story. And so you going away from Pride Rock, going somewhere, living your best life, being a hedonist, and then realizing, oh, there's responsibility, there is a duty. Because in space, we have duties, we have things we're supposed to do. And it's a very rigid system, which is why some angels decided that they would much prefer to come down here and sleep with humans. Whole other story. So when your heart is damaged, you can't get the energy back. Now, or not back, you can't receive the full of your energy from the lower chakras. You can stay in your lower emotions like anger, fear, sadness, guilt, depression way more often. When you are able to open your throat chakra, you are then able to send that energy from the lower chakras through your heart to the other ones. When energies go to your throat, you're able to speak your truth. When they come to your third eye, you're able to see a truth beyond what you can see with your eyes. When they come through your energies, come through your crown and are able to hit through your heart, you can literally get answers that you don't even fucking know. But the universe sends through you. It is a whole internet database up there of answers you can have called the Akashic Records. And literally all you have to do is learn to connect to your higher self. So with all of this being said, the emotions come up that need to be healed in your heart. Whether it be from a past life or current life, they are all connected. We are still living the same situations out over and over again. I recently found out, because I have to share this shit with somebody. I recently found out that in another life, I was sister wives with my stepmother, and I was the favorite wife. So that person was always like, my stepmother was always like beat or in trouble off behalf of me. So in this life, it was not a good relationship. But finding that out sort of gave me peace. I actually texted her afterwards, like, hey, because we had such a weird relationship. I met her when I was like 5, and she's clearly way older than me. She's older than my dad too. But in the past life, she was the older wife that he had married. The dude had married for her money, but she was always older, wasn't necessarily like, it's crazy, but I would never have understood that your soul never forgets. Our oversouls are huge. And even technically, if somebody's interested in twin flames, understanding this, your twin flame is the other part to your soul, the thing that will make you 15 feet tall. You see the statues in Africa and those of beings that are that huge, it's because your soul has a divine masculine and a divine feminine, and they come together and they make this jumbo thing. But your oversoul is always up there sort of guiding this, like with a VR headset on and watching through your life. So as you are going through the game, this is just a part, like a plug-in to this human, this spark, to make these bodies work so you can have this experience. But your soul is always up there with all the information from all the lives. So you ever meet somebody and you just don't fuck with them and you don't know why? Your soul remembers why, and they just shot you a shot. This also works the other way with if somebody just does not like you off top. You have no idea what you could have did to somebody in your last life. My husband murdered me before, and in turn, I have murdered him over the course of history. Life is freaking wild. I just learning that there's so much more to this, because I was really sad when that energy hit. I knew I had to go with the flow. I took 2 days off of work just to let the energy go through me, because I knew I wasn't sad because of anything. Now I had to feel my feelings. I had to feel a lot of feelings from stuff that needed to come up, like sadness that still holds you back, because that is the thing. You cannot put feelings on pause. Ironically so, my stepmother is an Aquarius, Mercury retrograde Aquarius. This will literally affect people with their sun, people with their moon in Aquarius. I just got a message from my sister's wife. I haven't talked to my sister in a while. My sister's in Aquarius. So this is about correcting communication, weeding out what needs to be done. You might feel like you need to cut people off, but this might be a good time for you to work out what went wrong. And this doesn't mean you have to make up with people or anything like that. You have no idea how much closure you can get. You can assume that somebody hasn't grown, or that you don't know how much you've grown and how much you can handle a situation, how much peace it will bring you. Because I had no idea after all this time that writing her or talking to my sister's wife would actually be cool. Life is wild. I think sometimes it can be easy to feel like just because you've grown so much, nobody that you've dealt with in the past is going to be able to, or you can assume that they are the same people they are. And I think this time is really humbling in that way. So the video today, I wanted to make, I had some questions from the people on my Patreon. I'm not going to mention names, but I wanted to share their answers with everybody here, because this is my shadow work video for the week. This is also my astrology update. I think I'm going to do a regular thing with this, just to help you understand how the planets affect us now. Like what's going on, because I see so many people who are like, what the fuck is going on? I feel like we're all going through something, and we are. This is very heavy energy right now. There are a lot of lost souls going around. A lot of people are losing jobs. I made a video earlier, I believe in December actually, called Red Pill, Blue Pill, when I discussed what we are sort of in now, this game of so I'm going to remake that video after the studio was set up so that the quality goes a little bit more with the message I want to send, because I want it to be clearly conveyed. Don't let this get you down. It's real, but it's like this real. We came here to have an experience, to learn, to grow. Everybody here is a part of the game, whether they remember it or not. So today's episode of shadow work and astrology is about Mercury retrograde and energy vampires. Let's talk about friends. First and foremost, let's go through how Aquarius is going to do in the houses. This particular retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication, which connects with the Gemini, right? Communication, the mind, writing, transportation, short trips, technology, all those Mercury, tough type things, just connecting to other people by the mind. So When that gets into Aquarius, that becomes dry because Aquarius is an air sign. It's all about thinking, not like it's already not dry because Mercury belongs to Gemini, but Aquarius is always thinking about ways to invent, reinvent, to be different, to be for the people, to be outside of the box. So if you have this retrograde in your first house, this is a mental makeover. Have you been boxing yourself? Have you not been letting your freak flag fly? Is what the question is for this retrograde. Have you been being your truest self? Have you been authentic in the way that you have represented who you are to the world and your thoughts and your speech? In the second house, you might be learning that you're making money in a new way with your mind or doing new technology. With the third house, your communication with people around you. You might be repairing old friendships or making new friendships locally. If it's in the fourth house, you're going to be hanging out online, trying not to lose your mind, making new friends, trying new things. You might even be creating things at home with this. In the fifth house, you will definitely be homeschooling if you have children. If not, you will be working on ways to put your unique creativity online or to show off your shit to people. The sixth house, that's where I have it. You will be having a random ass day-to-day schedule that requires you to sit on the computer or talk to people or work on the internet. But either way, you'll never know if you're coming or going because it's going to be all over the place, and you're also going to have an erratic eating pattern. For the seventh house, this is your marriage house. You and your partner might start swinging. You might be into astrology, science. Your partner might go off on a genius rant, or you guys just might be really distant or cold or living your best friendship life. If you have it in the eighth house, you are going to be looking into new kinks, but also you might be into looking for new ways to make money. This might go back to the stock market. You might be looking at that, what is it, Dogecoin, Bitcoin. If one more Bitcoin person writes me, I'm really going to lose my shit. I'm going to like hex Bitcoin. Like, don't freaking write me. I don't know you. That's so rude. So the eighth house, learning how to invest your money to make a better return online, learning to connect with people online is going to be the same thing for the ninth house. Except for now, you're probably doing research online, trying to find where God is in all of this, or considering being online more, mingling with foreigners, maybe even traveling, thinking about traveling, setting up a trip. For the 10th house, you're going to be talking amongst the people. You're going to be working on being known amongst the people in your job, in your career. Being a rebel? Are you online fighting with people about the state of the world? That could be part of this too. Now, if you have Aquarius in 11th, you are connecting with old friends. You are backtracking. You are clearing up the dust in a really big way. This could also be the same thing for the fifth house because that's your friendships, your one-on-one relationships. So you could have exes coming back if you have Aquarius in the fifth. And if you have it in the 12th, you are dealing with all the reasons why nobody fucks with you. Yes, I know I said that. I said it. But that's what it means. If you have Aquarius in 12th, this means that in another life, you did not connect to people so well, or you completely gave yourself up for the sake of humanity. One way or the other, you are learning balance. You can't freaking hate people, and then you can't completely join a group so much that you lose your identity. So this life is about balance for you. And right now, you are learning in isolation how to fucking get along with people if you have it in the 12th. So now that we know how it's affecting everybody, because we only have 12 houses, so I could possibly have this one. I'll be able to check sometimes. I don't even know what the hell's going on behind me. So energy vampires. This has been on my mind all week, but this is definitely being revved up. There are people around who are literally being hit with this energy in a way that is causing them to be hateful. I think of the best way to say it. They are being really hateful. To understand how this works, let's get back into the lower vibrations. You remember how I was saying if your heart is closed, all your emotions get based down here: fear, guilt, anger, all that. When someone is unhappy and their heart has been closed, they can only receive in those areas as well. They can only receive fear, guilt, anger. So here's the interesting part. If there are some unresolved feelings inside of you, when you come into the energetic space with this person, they do not even have to know your backstory, but they literally absorb these energies, their body pings them off of you. So you could be having a conversation with somebody you've never met before, and they say something that offends the fuck out of you. Keep in mind, this person knows nothing about you, but it's because they literally have misery sitting in their fucking stomachs. And they can sense your misery and they go together. This is how the energy of the darkness or the devil or whatever you call it, just the part of us that is the shadow of the universe, the shadow of God, is in each one of us. It's in these lower chakras and the base feelings and the people who aren't able to connect to above. So when you meet somebody who is miserable or keeps coming for your head, or if you're around somebody and you keep coming for their head, they're pinging a certain misery in you that needs to be healed. Maybe a certain light that you let go of yourself. Say, for instance, you get around somebody who laughs all the time and they have a beautiful laugh, life of the party. And you remember when you used to be life of the party and then like your family knocked it the fuck out of you. So you might automatically like feel like this person is a piece of shit. This person is a show off, blah, blah, blah. That's because it has pinged your shadow the same way that you can ping somebody else's shadow. And this is where energy vampires come in. Some people's hearts are so empty and so closed. Being here, you need light to feed off of. The light of the universe, the thing that we are each given here, our soul essence, our Christos energy, is the spark here, the light that we have to survive, the happiness, the joy. Think of Monster Inc. Monsters Inc. When the kids were happy and laughed, the energy was way better than when they were terrified. Energy vampires can only feed off of that little energy that they can get out of you during a rise. So if you ever notice somebody who purposely takes shots at you just to get a rise, or somebody who argues with you who seems better after they argue, it's because they are feeding off of your energy. Their whole lives, they have been so empty. They don't even know that there's a natural mechanism in them that is causing them to do this, to get loose energy. Loosh. Please go down the rabbit hole with this. Loose energy is the energy that vampires, energetic vampires, because we're not going to get into the blood ones right now, but energy vampires are prominent. It is an adaptation to the version they used to be. These people need the emotionally sad, negative energy from other people to survive because they don't have their own energy. If you are a miserable person here who does not have a connection to the universe in some way, shape, or form, you die earlier. Because we are like flowers. We require the light of the sun, which is the universal energy, to survive. If you don't have that, you might be the type of person who literally hops from relationship to relationship, collecting energy from other people. You ever seen, what do they call them, homosexuals or succubus females? Jennifer's body is a perfect example of this. Once she was filled with a demon who could not receive light from anybody, although the character of Jennifer really did not have much light anyway, which probably is what made her a match for that energy in the first place. She had to take from young, vibrant, vivacious men to take their energy in order to survive. And then after she got that, she was like, that is how vampires work here. Our melanin, our energy, the adrenaline in our bodies actually lets off ionic like when you're upset, it's a charge that is received. When you're happy, it is a charge that's received. Some people are light vampires. They like light people up. That's a good thing. I guess that's more like a moth, a butterfly. I don't know. Some people like making people happy. That's just because you want to spread joy around the world. And there are people who want to make you unhappy. Those are vampires. We all have the ability to be a vampire in some way if there's something that has to be unhealed, and sometimes that has to come up for us. So it's probably really great that we always question self. When somebody offends you, why did that offend me? Did that have anything to do with that person? Or did this ping an unhealed wound in me that stemmed from something else? Or why did I just say that to that person? Is there something in them that makes me feel like I need to attack them? It's really checks and balances and understanding that everything here is a dance and an interaction of us connecting together, and nothing is separate. So there is no more just pointing the finger at this point, because the other fingers really do point back. We are at a phase where we need to see ourselves and each other in order to solve this problem and to get to the next phase and be happy. So during this Mercury retrograde, you will get pinged, you will get tinged, and you will get tried, because that's the name of the game that we have going on right now. And I just really had that on my heart to explain what energy vampires are. So signs to look out for. If you have a homegirl that keeps telling you the same thing over and over again, no matter how much advice you give her, and she just sort of does not take that, don't take it personal. She might not be able to receive that. Maybe she's stuck in a cycle, because that happens too. Sometimes during, well, actually, not sometimes, but during the first 12 years of life, we are set in our cycles. You can look into Hellenistic astrology for this. The first 12 years set the playing board for the rest of the game. After that, there are loops. And you can get through the lessons and enjoy the rest of your life on free mode, or you can get stuck in the lesson. People who get stuck in their lesson don't realize they're stuck in the lesson. They might realize something is familiar, but they feel completely powerless to get out of it. In some cases, this is where it's important to realize, as a helper, you have to draw boundaries. Boundaries are the only safety against energy vampires, because keep in mind, these are still people. We've all been this type of person before. We've all had our moments where we talked somebody's ear off about a problem and didn't take advice. But the problem is somebody who refuses to do better. And that's where you have to assess, as a person, as a human, if this person is stealing energy from me, if this person just pops up to talk and then disappears, if you feel stressed when you have to talk to them, if you feel any of those emotions, this person can be pulling energy from you, and they don't even know it. So what are some things you can do for energy vampires? Boundaries. Straight up and down tell them, like, hey, not in an asshole way. Don't be an asshole spiritualist. I've been there. But you can say, hey, like, the only time you talk to me is when you have problems, and I really don't have space for that. You can remove yourself from their lives, because sometimes people do have an exit point in your life as well. I don't think you can go around straight up telling, like, hey, but you're an energy vampire. But you can put boundaries, safeties. You can fall back. You do not have to be ever present. You do not have to be around anybody who makes you feel bad. Now, I realize, because I know I had this issue, some people have been treated bad since they were little. They don't even realize what being treated bad is. They're so used to feeling some type of way when somebody talks to them, or people trying them or disrespecting them, that they don't notice when somebody else does it. They've accepted the feeling of being hurt when somebody talks to them as something they deserve, and that's not the case. Stop that shit now. Put your foot down. No matter what you have been through before this moment, or what has been said to you, or what you feel about yourself, put that aside and replace that with, I am enough. I deserve respect. And then base your interactions on that next. If somebody is not respecting you, if you feel some type of way when this person talks to you, pay attention to your body if you can't trust your mind. Do you clam up when this person is around? Do you get anxiety? Are you sad? What are your thoughts about this person? Are you thinking things you have to keep to yourself? All of those things will let you know if you're in a relationship of any sort that does not honor who you are. So I have 3 questions here I'm going to answer. I know you see me in the background. Excuse me. So, first one, how do I not be so sad all the time? I'll be having a good day, then just cry out of nowhere. This absolutely goes back to what I was just saying about old feelings coming up. I believe over a long-term basis, it might be called depression, but depression is really just you not being in alignment. Your soul is sad because you are so far off track from what you were supposed to be doing. When you are not filling yourself with enough light, when you are not doing what you love, when you are not resting enough, when you are not fulfilled, these things roll over into depression. But if you are crying out of nowhere and there's not a central reason, there might be some clearing that you need to do. Do you meditate? Do you journal? What have you overcome that you have not accepted? I was homeless for a year. I was very disconnected from that experience, because during that, you're in survival mode. Survival mode means you did what you had to. A lot of people can still be in survival mode from childhood or from a bad relationship where they did what they had to. And then after they get out of it, they're like, oh, I'm fine now. Let me just truck on with life. But as you're trucking through life, those feelings from the times where you just wanted to break down or cry still have to come up. So I'd say honor yourself. Let your feelings come up. Journal, or do this like I'm doing now. I video blurb. I will turn a video on and start talking to myself. I will talk about my day. And this is a great way to do shadow work. I advise everybody to try this. I started talking about my day, and then that leads to a whole rabbit hole of other things, because sometimes you just need to uncork yourself. You need to let all your thoughts out unabashedly. You need to be able to say what you truly feel. And then after you do that, you can assess how different is what I just said on this camera to myself in private from what I say or how I act during the regular day. That will tell you how far out of alignment you are, how much of a mask you are wearing on a regular basis. And then you can begin to work towards authenticity, because that's the only way we get out of here, or that you can leave this place without karma. Your thoughts have to match your actions, and they have to match your words. You have to be like 100%, 100 in order to get out of here. But when you recognize, oh, I would not have said that if such and such could hear it. Why is that? Why could you not have expressed yourself? This is all about observation, not judgment, realizing why you made adaptations to yourself. Why did you not honor certain feelings and allowing yourself to feel? Because sometimes we're afraid to ask ourselves the hard questions. When you video diary or blurt to get up your feelings, or even voice notes, let yourself get your full feelings out. I think maybe sometimes putting yourself on pause, you don't recognize that everything goes back on play automatically over time. So that is my answer to how do I not be so sad all the time. Honor it when you feel it so that you can release it, so that you don't keep putting your feelings on pause. You have to let yourself feel, or it's going to pile up in other ways. So question number one. Question number two. How do you find the root to addiction to toxic relationships or attachment issues? This question is specifically coming from a person that has Pluto in 7th. When you have Pluto in 7th, you have a twin flame setup. This means that you're going to get into relationships that constantly transform you, but also that sometimes you don't realize you are the issue when you have Pluto in 7th. You see your partner as a reflection for all of the things that hurt you, because there's so much hurt in there. Technically, to say with Pluto in 7th, I can say this personally because my husband has Pluto in 7th. So we ping off of each other's energy. Anything that is unhealed in me, like I was just saying a little while ago, it doesn't matter if they don't know about it. Something about them will pick up on it and it will ping off. So it's not necessarily an addiction that you have to toxic relationships or attachment issues. It's a relationship that you agreed to be in, that is painful because it's pulling up all the root of the other issues that you have. Other times you've been in the same relationship, because we are generally just swapping roles, trying to heal things. Why do you consider this relationship toxic? Why do you feel like it's an addiction? What is your attachment issue? I find a lot of times people don't realize the heart healing that has to happen here. We don't realize we're afraid of our own feelings, afraid to cry. I guess it's like sometimes when there's a fire, you don't want to walk through the fire. It's the same thing with your feelings. You don't want to walk through a fucking forest fire of your feelings and think, why do I really feel like this? Because I feel like I know at this point, in the back of all of our psyches and our shadows, if we were to sit in silence and ask ourselves a question, this is called a soul inquiry, the answer is right there. The root to this is typically feelings that you have unresolved in yourself. Our partners reflect to us the things that we need to heal, whether it be from this life or another one. Say, for instance, if you have issues about the way you look, it doesn't matter if you didn't tell anybody, you can get in a relationship with a dude that's suddenly telling you how to dress, how to fix your hair and stuff, and sort of reinforcing your feelings that you're not enough by yourself. Until the point that he has pushed you so far and making you look like his personal doll that you're like, hold on, pause. I am beautiful without all of this, because that's how life forces you to do things. Now, if it's a relationship where you have a hard time letting go of things, yes, you will keep getting gut punched in a relationship too, if the lesson was learning to let go. Everything here works in a push and pull opposite pattern. And even honestly, in some cases, taking a break and coming back is good. I think we live in a world where they embrace separating, and once an ex is out of your life, it's an ex. And I don't think that's the case. Sometimes you let an ex go and that ex was the one y'all just needed some time to work it together. A good relationship can take many, many years. So how do you find the root to your addiction? Look at your childhood. Look at the first 12 years of your life. What was lacking then? What do you still feel is lacking? So last question. A very good friend of mine passed away on the 30th of January. We have been lovers off and on for close to 50 years. We also connected through dreams. He dreamed of me and I'd call, or the other way around. My question is, can soulmates just be very good friends? Absolutely. Soulmates are like the other, they're like a stamped duplicate of you that just fits perfectly in your puzzle. I talked about this earlier this week on my wall. This can be a pet, this can be a homie, or a lover, or a family member. Soulmate is somebody who's meant to help you along this journey, to give you bits of hope and pieces and keep you on your way. Just soulmates are lovely. So soulmates can be friends or platonic. And I look forward to sharing actually a chart of soulmate setups this coming week, just to get into that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I really happy to get this out. I have been holding off because I wanted the video to be set up, but I can't rush everything. And I know you guys needed this information. So thank you all so much and have a great week.